Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. How's everyone doing? Just a bit of Saturday game dev here. Hey, Mr. Magoo. Happy Saturday, and to you as well. How's it going, everybody? I think we'll just do a couple hours of game dev today. I don't think this is going to be a particularly long stream. I'm starting a little late. Hey, Nix. The ratings came out for the solo dev game jam. We didn't do great. We did very middling, which is a bit of a disappointment to me. We got 15th in polish, 16th in creativity, overall 17th. Theme interpretation and gameplay were our weakest, which is definitely fair because our theme interpretation was just like put on a black and white filter. And our gameplay was hampered by the direct movement for the pathfinding, for sure. But pretty good. People like the polish. People like the creativity. We got close to a 4. Not quite. Which is a little disappointing. But middle is better than last. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's definitely an improvement, and that's the important thing. What I have done, which is neat, is I put out an updated version that includes keyboard and joystick movement, so you don't have to click around. You still can, but I've added a new version, so now, and I'm using Bad Cops Jam Pack. So now when you go to run the game, it lets you pick between the original 72-hour jam entry or a keyboard and joystick version. So you can pick this and it will load that version for you. And then you can play that version. So that's cool. I'm glad I did that. That addresses like the key piece of feedback I got from everyone, which is like direct movement would have been better. The pathfinding stuff was kind of janky, which is fair. It was. There was no sub-tile movement. It was all per tile. So the movement felt pretty clunky. Oh, look at Nyx. Look at you with your 15 stream streak. That's wild. Yeah, the version switching is nice. The jam pack is a really cool cool thing Bad Cop made. I really like that. Hey, Puskas the greatest. What's up? Mr. Magoo? What's up? Playing TF2? Alright, I'm gonna change the radio because this is ridiculous, whatever is playing. Some medieval, like, nonsense. But yeah, kind of disappointing. But, you know, we definitely improved. It was definitely the quickest I've been able to do any kind of real gameplay programming. I say quickest, we still spent 3 days on it. But it was like definitely the most complex from a gameplay standpoint thing I've put together in such a short period of time. So I'm really proud of it, but you know, I'd hoped it was gonna at least crack. I had no illusions that I was gonna win, but I'd hoped I would at least crack like the top 10 or something, at least in a field of 100. But that's fine. So we'll just auto tile. We'll do some auto tiling. The radio was pretty nice. It was funny. Yeah, Pretzel Rocks is very hit or miss, you know. It does its best. All right, so I left us with a problem, which was solving the one auto tiling bug created another. You missed the jam results? Yes. Yes, you did. They were middling. We got 17th overall. Which, you know, puts us in the top 20%, which is cool. But still, I thought we were going to do better. But I did put out an updated version of the game, Arneo, with keyboard and joystick support. So you can play with WASD or a joystick as well as click to move. So I think I've addressed the key complaint people had with that game, which was that How are you doing? Happy Saturday. Thanks for popping in here for a bit of weekend game dev. Okay, there's a bug here. You can see the interruption. I feel like we see that elsewhere too, but that's something I want to fix. That's next on the list maybe. But what we need to fix now is this errant white line that shows up. And we have this here because if we don't have this, so we don't have this on this side because we're using different code for the y-axis as we are for the x-axis, just for comparative purposes. So you don't get that weird outline here, but you also, there's something missing because of that, and I don't remember what it is. What is it? Oh, I remember. So watch this. If I do this, yeah, you can see on the left side, there's an uninterrupted line, top line for the white outline. But on the right side, over here, just above where the cursor is, there, you see one's missing. So this is the thing. So far, the way we've written this, if we want to draw this outline, the one that's there, we also are going to end up drawing that one, the like hidden little single white line. So if we get rid of this one, we also get rid of this one. So we need to identify the difference between these two cases and refine the auto-tiling rule to capture that. Thumbs up anyway for top 20%. You've been super hyped with your project all of a sudden. One of your most productive days was this morning. That's awesome. Yeah, the stuff you're doing with the missiles and everything is really cool. You were talking about it in the Discord, like the time delay for the missile arming itself. It makes me think of like Hunt for Red October, where a lot of like Captain Ramius's tricks involved either hitting or taking advantage of the fact that the torpedoes didn't arm themselves. They had safeties on to prevent like the missiles hitting their own ship, and he would take advantage of the fact of that and avoid getting hit because he knew how long their safeties were. Makes me think of that stuff. I know that's not a space game, but I feel like that captures space combat sort of stuff better than a lot of other. Deep sea combat like that is a lot like space combat, or at least the way we've interpreted how space combat would be is a lot like submarine combat, I feel like. Either erroneously or truly, because, you know, we don't actually do. I don't think there's any historical record of any space combat ever occurring yet, but it's definitely part of the feeling of it. Hey, Sapphire Starship, how's it going? Happy Saturday. All right, so what's the difference between this case and this case? So this case involves a cutaway. This case does not involve a cutaway. So maybe it's as simple as saying if there isn't a cutaway. I thought we were doing that, but maybe I removed that on accident. Or not on accident, but maybe I removed it. Quote-unquote unintentionally. Let's see. Let's see what I did there. So that's the deck X overlay is what we need to change. Okay. I started playing Arc Raiders yesterday. I really like it. I'm having fun. I've mostly been playing squad with some friends of mine, but I think I'm going to also really like solo. Solo has been really interesting. All the dynamics of like running into a person and not knowing how they're going to react, whether they're going to be hostile or friendly. Really interesting. Really interesting. There's so much you can get for free by doing a multiplayer game. There's so much like interesting dynamics and stuff you can just get for free. All you have to do is be willing to deal with netcode. Which is not me. All right, what am I doing? I don't even know. I should have just said we're playing like Arc Raiders today or not streamed. I'm like, I'm feeling very unfocused. And now a bit demotivated by the ratings, but that's fine. That's definitely one of our better performances, you know. And we improved. That's really what matters. I'm just a competitive person. And so I actively avoid competition because of the emotional cost of it. So I usually don't compete in things because I know I'm going to take it seriously. But I can't help myself with jams. I enjoy jams. All right, so where do we think this is? So there aren't any cutaway. Well, there's a cutaway check here. I'm pretty sure we determined that the error is here, which would make sense. Yeah, so we're definitely in this branch. We're looking to make sure that there isn't anything here. And there isn't anything here. I don't understand how we're reaching this. It's a little backwards to me. Sapphire, you think of my mostly lurking today? Well, you might be going through some some shader guides and learn so that you can actually know what you're doing. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, Ant. All right, so this is a little perplexing to me because I think we're dealing with the case where the block that we're selected, or the block that we're hovering over, isn't part of the mask. And this is also not part of the mask. Oh, no. This one is part of the mask. So this ends up reading as false. However, this one is controlling whether or not we can do the outline. I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure this is the source of our problem here. I just don't know quite how to adjust it to get what we want. Arnio, you finally Googled what greeble is? Oh yeah, greeble is a great term. It's the word for all of those little bits. All those little bits that you stick on like ship models and stuff to give that the sense of scale, right? It's like a certain style of starship design. It's like Star Wars. Stuff from Star Wars is always just covered in greebles, where stuff from Star Trek, at least Federation ships, almost never have any kind of greebles. Alien ships will, partly to like help differentiate models that are otherwise would be very similar, because they definitely reused stuff. But yeah, it's kind of amazing. I think the greeble is really the domain of the kit bash. It's something you see a lot, I think, in kit bashing. Not just for scale, but also making stuff look more complicated than it actually is. Yeah, fair. I think in spaceship design, it's usually for scale. Because it's really hard to determine scale in space, right? But yeah, it's really good. Detail communicates scale, I think, fundamentally. But yeah, greebles. That's fun. That's something I don't know how I'm gonna do with such a low resolution. Maybe I'll just get away with it. A few pixels here, a few pixels there. All right, so when this returns false, then our only hope is this, and we have to constrain this very carefully because our problem is we're seeing it in one situation but not another. So this is returning false in the case of like the T-junction thing at the back edge, and it's returning true. Or no, it's returning false in both cases. It's either returning false in both cases or true in both cases. And so we need to add a differentiator in there that changes it. So if I look back at it one more time here. No natural references to compare scale against. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so it's this outline here, the one just above where my cursor is. We want to make sure that one does render, but we want to make sure that this back one here, when you're in this kind of a situation, that it doesn't. You know, this might... I think I'm misusing a hull check because I need to double check when I'm generating a hull tile. I don't think I consider cutaways at that time, which means I have to over generate. So I think I'm actually doing the wrong check here. Because the real difference is this cutaway. With the cutaway, we need to draw it. Oh, this is also so... Yeah, with the cutaway here, we need to draw it. Without the cutaway... Well, without the cutaway, we still may need to draw it, huh? I guess the cutaway actually doesn't matter. I think I know what's happening. I think it's this part here. So I think this not hulls.contains key thing. I think this is not doing what I think it would. Because this actually doesn't matter, I think. So if this isn't here... So whether or not this isn't here... So if this isn't here, we definitely want to skip the outline. If this is here, we probably want to draw it. We don't want to skip it. So actually, it could be like this. I think it could be like this. This might be wrong, but I think we're gonna try it. We're gonna give it a try. I think putting it as at equal weight as this is wrong. Yeah, that doesn't actually do what I think it does. Sapphire Starship. Anyone have any good shader guides tutorials they would recommend? Probably Godot specific. No, you want to do the Book of Shaders, which they just rewrote for Godot. I say they, someone. So you want this. I'm going to link it in the Twitch. And the YouTube, I guess. You want that specifically. The Book of Shaders for Godot. So it's an adaptation of a famous, kind of series on shaders, but written specifically for Godot. And it works in the browser. It's, like, really neat. Like, it's this. Book of Shaders, ported to Godot's shader language with an editor. Live loading, editing, and saving Godot shaders in a simplified interface. Now with a 3D shader option. Super cool. And there's chapters, so you can go through. You can go through and learn these different, all the different variations here. It gets pretty advanced, I think. I haven't even gone through this, but I want to. So, like, here's this shader, like, I think blurs based on the Y position of the cursor. Neat stuff. But yeah, there's lots of stuff. Yeah, this is good. Noise generation. It's one of those, like, you're mostly going to be just studying the code, I think. But there's probably a Book of Shaders, some Book of Shaders reference. Like, if you click this link and you actually go to the Book of Shaders, I think here's all the, here's all the spoken, all the knowledge that would accumulate it. Like, I mean, look at this. This is ridiculous. I really need to go through this all. I've never read the Book of Shaders. But yeah, read the Book of Shaders and use that Godot specific tutorial thing. I don't know, editor, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to interpret it exactly. Because that's sometimes the hard part, right? It's like interpreting the abstract. Here's how a shader works to, like, okay, but how's a shader work in Godot? So you've got the book. You've got the raw book, which is amazing that it's available just on the web here for, like, free. And then you've also got the specifics. So you've got both, which is ideal, right? The theory and the practice. But yeah, I got to do that one of these days. All right, so here's my problem. I don't think so. I think if I look up when we're generating these hulls, which is like pretty high up here, way up here, I think is when we do it. So when we do things like deriving hull data, we don't skip. We really don't skip for any reason. So I would need to cross-reference it with the cutaway, which is why we can't just have hull checks by themselves, because they don't actually tell us anything. I went too far. So when we do things like this, a hull containment check by itself, we actually probably get the wrong things. Like, I'm a little nervous of this one here, just being by itself. So whenever I have a knot, I need to say knot. It needs to be like this. So not this, or cutaways. All key dot xyz plus z. You can actually do it like this, huh? No, this is still wrong. Never mind. I actually need to do it that way. I still don't love this indentation style I've adopted here. I've probably made things significantly worse, but let's see. Should be able to test this with just a single layer. Okay, so that part is right. What about this part? Okay, no change, no change. Great. Okay. Okay. Or if there isn't one of these, or we're cutting away what there is. What does the Y one look like? Because that one has the opposite problem, which is we're being too generous. So, okay, so I think it all comes down to this last check here. And how we interpret that. So this is an or, it becomes too generous. If it's an and, it's too strict. So what if we make this an or and then we add an additional part of it? We do this and oh, this is not good. And cutaways. We can clean this up a little bit, I think. Yeah, most of these parentheses aren't doing anything, which I need to work on. But we'll rearrange this if it works. If it actually achieves what we want. Oh, I wanted to say not cutaway. Not cutaways.has. So it's safer if I do this. If I do if you check for a hull, you should also check that there isn't a cutaway and vice versa. That's more consistent because just because there's a hull tile somewhere doesn't mean we're going to draw it. And you need to know both those things. All right, so we're drawing this. That's good. Are we also going to draw this? Ooh, we're not going to draw that. Aha. All right. Regression, quick regression check. Let's just make sure we didn't break anything with that fix. That's good. That's good. All right, all right. I think we've got one bug down already. That's good. That's nice. Sometimes I feel like I get real stuck on these. So far, so good. Okay, I think we did it. Let's try to clean this up. So this is necessary. And this one is necessary. But this one's not. And technically speaking, this one's not either. Although organizationally, I still like doing that. Maybe we won't. We'll just do like this. I don't know if I have the right number of parentheses here. I don't. There we go. This one, the same deal with this one. Don't actually need that one. Okay, that's a little better. It's still, this is still like scary to look at, but. Okay, let's check this first, and then there's an addition I want to make. All right. I'm adding something for completeness that I don't think we strictly need. I'm just hoping it doesn't add any kind of issues. seems fine. Let's add one more layer because there's some issues that only become apparent when you're looking at multiple layers. Oh yeah, we should check this one too. That's correct. It's not correct. Oh. I found one incorrect spot. But that's not in the deck code, that's in the bulk code. Okay, found an incidental bug. That's good to know. And it's in both sides. Okay, we found a bulk bug. That's good. All right, let's copy the changes over to the other side. I'm satisfied that we didn't introduce any regressions. This is a real mouthful, this series of checks here. It's pretty crazy. Nix, quick question. If you make all of your code contain on GD script, then you could build for web, right? Or do you need to like create a specific Godot game version thingy? I don't totally understand the question. Only GD script. Not C#. Yeah. C# is not exportable to the web in Godot 4. If you use Godot 3, it is. But that's because Godot 3, I think, is on Mono. And Godot 4 is .NET. I don't know. I actually don't know the details of that, but I think that's what it is. But yeah, Godot 4, no C# web export. Godot 3, yes, C# web export. I wouldn't go back to Godot 3 just to have web export. They will fix it. It's just going to take time. They seem pretty close, honestly. I would not be surprised if web export is in 4.6, which would be the next version, major version of Godot. All right, I got to flip all of the axes here. Yeah. Hey, A6. What's up? How's it going? Happy Saturday. Hey, Mr. Magoo. You're all good, A6? How am I? I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm pretty tired. I don't think I have a lot of focus today, but we already fixed one bug, so, you know, we got something. And I think we're gunning for another one here in a second. You've been here all the time, installing a new Unity editor. You're such a confusing It's so hard to get a beat on you, Mr. Magoo, because you're like, on one hand, you're like, I want to build my own OS. And then on the other hand, you're like, I'm okay using Unity. I mean, someone says hey to me, I say hey back, you know? Just wait until you tell me what else you do. You're an enigma. Yeah, that it's wild to me that someone could both feel the need to make an OS and also want to use Unity. Like, I don't think Unity is very friendly to like you know, people who are really like having control over their stuff. Godot, sure. You know, you ever want to do something weird with Godot, you can always fork the engine or whatever. You're working on a graphics library? That's cool. That's cool. Again, I don't know why you would want to use Unity then. Maybe Magoo is working on Unity support for their own custom OS. Thought about that? I didn't think about that because that's crazy. I get it. If you're like trying to see how they do it, that's cool. I would probably want to study, you know, Godot instead because it's like open source and they do all the same things that Unity does. Or maybe you're making a Unity an OS. Oh, you're making it its own OS. That sounds it sounds terrible. All right. Okay. We flipped behavior here. Oh, you know what I didn't do is I didn't flip the corners. Are the corners still the same? I think the corners are still the same. I think I need to add cutaway information here as well. I think it's questionable to ever check for hall membership without checking for cutaway, the presence of a cutaway. But you know, I'm not gonna fix what isn't broken at the moment here. Hey, Yurga. Welcome in. Congratulations on getting third. I thought you were gonna win it. I thought you were gonna win the whole thing if I was to be honest. But third is not bad. I was rooting for you to win. How's the post jam stuff coming? All right, quick check. Make sure I did the transcription correctly. Thanks. Third is great. You finally get some courage after it. Go with your passion and someday quit your shitty corpo work. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, you did great. That was a great entry. That's the kind of entry I could never come up with. I'm like not a narrative designer kind of person. I'm like very systems driven. But yeah, yours was great. Yours was like one of the ideal formats for like a jam game. Like 5 minutes. There's a definite end. Very good. Very good experience. I just hey Ran and Journey. After the ratings came out, I was pretty disappointed in my performance, I'm not gonna lie. We definitely had some major issues with our game. The biggest of which was only having the pathfinding, like click to move system, which didn't work very well. So what I did today is upload a I uploaded a new build using with Bad Cops Jam Pack, so you can still pick the original build, but you can play a new build that has keyboard and mouse joystick support. So you can pick either version if you still want to check out the original one I did. But yeah, the new one with, I think it addresses all the key issues, the quote unquote key issues. Yeah, that there was no direct movement system. It's actually kind of hard to add direct movement on top of the click to move stuff and keep it all working, but I did. So I know you have some post-jam stuff planned too. I didn't feel like doing a lot of post-jam because I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, but jam ratings is over. Yep. We didn't do terribly well. We got pretty middling. I got 17th overall, which is definitely lower than I had hoped. I'd hoped I would at least crack the top 10, but there were a lot of good entries, so I can't be mad. Maybe a bit disappointed, but not mad. We worked hard, and I'm pretty proud of what we came up with, but, you know, we'll do better next time. There's a bug we're the next bug on the list I've spotted, and I kind of want to take on here. Let's see if I can recreate it. I think it's like, I think if we do this and then this, you think it was great? Yeah, well, we just added that new version of it. If anyone wants to try it, it's got direct movement, so you can move with a joystick or a keyboard. It feels a lot better than click to move, but the click to move still works, like if you're playing on your phone or something. You can still play the updated version and do click to move. I don't think it really has any bug fixes, per se. All right, so I spotted a bug here. I think I have to do this. Yeah, so if we do this and we do like this, yeah, you can see where it's missing an outline. Ooh, that looks weird. There's a separate bug we need to address as well. That for some reason only affects the deck plates and not the bulk plates, and that's not even an overlap, or that's not even a overlay problem. That's just a general auto tiling problem. But yeah, there's a few outlines that are missing here. That's concerning. Oh no, that's a wall. That's a wall. Never mind. A little hard to tell sometimes the difference between it. So this is a wall, and this is like not a wall. Right. Okay. But there's still this. There's still a couple. This is correct. This is not correct. So what's happening here? So the bulk is not drawing the outline below it. Because it's... Oh, no, this is maybe correct, huh? Well, it's sort of correct. Okay, no, it is the deck. It's the deck that's drawing it wrong. It's not the bulk at all. The deck is correct. There's some weird stuff happening here. All right, let's try to deal with the fact that there's like a vertical line missing here. Arneo. Don't use the courage to quit. Use it to not be afraid of being fired. Then if you're fired, collect the severance. That's an approach. That's an approach. Yurga, yep, with the WASD movement would be much better. Your game, my game gave you some graveyard keeper vibes, which is great. Nice. Yeah, I've never played that one, but I was thinking of it because that's kind of the only like graveyard farming game that exists as far as I know. But yeah, so yeah, I think I addressed the biggest problem with it, and that was enough for me. Mr. Magoo with the 104 bits. Oh, 204 bits. 240 bits. Thank you so much. Wow, you got us to our bits goal. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Magoo. I don't know how I feel about what's going on here. This is pushing me towards dealing with a hard problem that the autotiler has that I've been mostly trying to avoid. But I don't know if I can avoid it forever. But yeah, we need to revisit the... We need to do this in a way that doesn't require us to do those half tile walls. Although someone did suggest a way that we could handle half tile walls, which was not a bad idea, which I might be forced to implement. I don't want to, but I might be forced to do it. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but I'm hesitating to make another change to our tile set atlases. It would involve having like 33% more tile map layers, you know? We at goal. Thank you so much, Mr. Magoo. You like shiny? I like shiny too. Really appreciate that. Way to secure bits leader 1. Okay, yeah, let's solve this general auto-tiling bug first, because that's going to matter. So that would be, if we go here, we can go up here. Deck X tile. We want to look at our positive X. I think. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah, positive X. Okay, so what it does at the moment, it looks, so it's facing X. It looks at its Y neighbor. Is it as simple? Is it as simple as something like this? All right, we're heading into an ad. Hold on to your ads, people. You're part of the no ad gang, Mr. Magoo. Yep. And anyone can be too. All they need to use is their Prime sub. It's free money. Okay, I'll stop shilling. All right, so we want to make sure we're not doing this. I want to make sure that this isn't being cut away. Here, I think what we actually do is like this. This looks a little weird, but it's what we're doing. Do we want to has any, or is it more like... Oh, are we... We need to be has, cut away, dot extents full deck. Prime sub gang. Here. Yeah. You should claim Bezos as an investor. I would never do that. That sounds horrible. All right, let's try this. This goes with my principle of anytime you do a hull check, you should also check the cutaways because it's essentially we could have a hull, but it's being totally cut away, so like the check could be meaningless. So let's see about that. That probably changes a lot of behavior in a lot of cases, but I'm hoping not. I'm hoping it just changes one behavior. Oh, so far so good. So far so good. We're gonna have a problem with this though, is the thing. And I changed this to fix a problem that we had elsewhere. Yep, there it is. There is the very problem that we have. You know, I don't know if there's a way to get around this problem without supporting in a half wall outline, but Ketu had a really good idea of how to support a half wall outline. All right, I'm gonna open Sprite. Nobody let me close this. Because if I close this, it is going to like break my display driver for a second and cause OBS to freak out. That is for some reason the thing that happens when I close Sprite now. How are we still in ads? This is crazy. I feel like we've been in ads for 1,000 years. This might be something we have to do next week. So what's the best way to talk about this? Maybe here. So what we do here is we have like, here's like the mapping for like a full wall, right? And then what we do is we have a version of the wall that I call the half wall. And it's the lower half of the wall. And so on the tile set atlas, there is the full wall and there is the half wall. And obviously the side of the deck. The problem for us is this full wall doesn't have space to do the half wall outline. And adding the half wall outline would be combinatorically expensive. But what we could do is instead of having a full wall, we could just set it so instead of the full wall, we have the upper half of the wall. And then we also have the lower half of the wall. You see? And then we can support half wall outlines. This was Ketu Dev's idea. And it's really smart. It definitely makes me want a tool to build a tile set atlas because I don't want to have to draw the halves of all the walls. I want to be able to draw the whole wall and have it break it up into halves, right? So we might do this, you know? What would that mean for the blocks? So the format wouldn't change. I don't know why I always open this one. This is like the worst one to demo because the weird... I don't know what you call this. The dithering. Where's a good example? Hull type block. So we could do this. And it would actually be the same size. It would just mean instead of this sort of thing and this is like too low contrast. So instead of having these be like this, like the full wall, they'd look more like this, but flipped like this. That didn't do anything. Why didn't that do anything? I'm probably on the wrong layer. Why bulk half texture? I didn't do anything either. I don't know where I am. That's fine. But you know what I mean. So there'd be like a lower half and then like an upper half instead of the whole wall. So it would mean we're always using both, which is fine because both always exist. So it actually wouldn't, that wouldn't mean more tile map layers than we currently have. We would just have the distinction between upper and lower. It'd be like upper wall, lower wall, and then like floor, side wall. You see, we're back to drawing the Elvish scriptures again. Yeah, we're rewriting the deep magics of the earth here. Don't save. Don't close A Sprite, Dave. Do not close A Sprite. Okay. Just minimize that. Close it later. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. That's probably what we're going to do next week. It's a setback, but it also fixes a lot of problems that we have in a lot of places that we are going to that we would otherwise have to engineer around. So I know I rejected this idea when Ketu first suggested it, but I'm coming around to it. That's way out of your no pay grade. I don't think that's true. You're making an OS. You're working on your graphics library. I couldn't do any of those things. I don't even think I could write a scheduler. Like, and I kind of understand how those work. The stuff you're doing is way beyond the stuff that we're doing here. It just seems complicated because it's a very particular context. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to rewrite. We're going to finish rewriting some of these auto-tiling rules to be correct for this. So we want the positive edge. I need to test this. I need to replace the textures I have with like gradients so I can test the textures. Because right now we're only testing the outlines, but I think I actually need to do like a gradient thing. I need to look at how easily A-Sprite does a gradient. I'm pretty sure there's a gradient tool. Yeah, I need to replace these solid textures with gradients just so that I can test stuff. Plug in a gradient, and that way I can make sure that the textures are being rendered correctly. Because right now, all I'm going by are the outlines, which is not sufficient. This isn't going to be that bad to change. I'm actually not that concerned about this. Because it's not like we're redefining the tile set atlas format. We're just changing, we're redefining the whole wall layer as actually just an upper wall layer, and the lower wall layer will always be in use now. That doesn't even, there's no even new cutaway extent or anything. Like, it doesn't really change that much, but it allows us to do half wall outlines, which is pretty huge. I actually might need different behavior for the texture as the outline because of that, but that's fine. We already have different outlining rules for the textures versus the outlines, sort of. We could split it a little bit. Magoo, you were copying big stuff and your system crashed. Now the same second of music is repeating. Oh no. Again, it's unclear to me. You're developing your OS on like a different computer than what you're like hanging out on, right? Like Nope. Okay, that sounds frustrating. Like if we were in Unity right now, I would not be streaming from the same computer that I would be developing on, because Unity has a bad habit of crashing your whole computer when the engine fails. Godot has never done that to me, ever. Godot usually doesn't even crash the engine when the runtime fails. It's pretty incredible. But Unity, if Unity fails, I've seen it crash my whole computer more times than I care to admit. So I would never do some, and I can only imagine an OS. I mean, if an OS crashes, yeah, that's your computer gone, right? Like, Sprite might start, yeah. Enigma. You really are, Mr. Migo. You're unknowable. You're unknowable like the late, great Leslie Nielsen. My favorite, Mr. Magoo. That's why you have a crash counter when you're streaming OS dev. Your record is 3 in 1 stream. Do you have to like reconnect your stream whenever that happens, or are you actually? That's crazy. That's pretty funny. Nix, you don't know. Yesterday you were playing around in Godot and it crashed all your peripherals. You had to restart your PC the old way. Well, I don't know what you're doing, but to be fair, Sprite is doing the same thing for me right now. I don't have to restart the computer, but it does like crash my display driver or something. All right, what were we doing? I don't remember. We were doing this. We're in kind of an awkward spot because the change I have in mind is going to involve a lot. Actually, it's not going to be that much. I'm being it really isn't going to be that much, is it? I don't think it's going to be that bad. I'm just hesitant to start it right now. So I'm kind of just going to be noodling probably here with the rest of these auto-tiling. I'm going to probably set up the auto-tiling rules. They're going to look wrong. They're going to look wrong because we're going to start introducing half outlines in some cases. Or what appears would need a half outline to look correct. Half block outline, as I should call it, to be consistent. Merge Cop told me nested ternaries are like a deep sin, and I have so many nested ternaries in this code. I mean, this isn't one of them, but I thought that was funny. All you have to do is Control Alt F2 and okay, a bunch of CLI stuff. Cool. Your floppy disk is so slow when you restart. What, Mr. Magoo? Are you? Does this OS you're making run off a floppy disk? I don't think I've had a working floppy disk drive in at least probably this millennium. Probably in the last 25 years, I don't think I've had a working floppy disk drive. That's crazy. I don't even know if I had a floppy disk drive on my Windows 98 machine. I probably did. No, no, it still had one. I think it still had one. It had a CD drive and a floppy disk drive, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That's wild. You have 20 floppy drives and coordinate them for extra storage. You're hoping to get a tape tower soon. When you say coordinate them for extra storage, do you mean that you have 20 floppy drives so that you can get probably the equivalent amount of storage of like, hold on. What's the maximum storage of a floppy disk? Extra storage. I feel like you're trolling me.
Your logic was impeccable, Captain.
most common capacities were 1.44 megabytes for the 3.5 inch and 1.2 megabytes for the 5.25 inch. So you're getting a whopping like 30 megabytes of extra storage space. That's ridiculous. Sapphire, you saw on Reddit the other day that someone managed to put a version of the Factorio on a floppy disk. That is insane. What is the floppy disk? Or what is the Factorio install size? It's around 2 gigabytes. That's pretty impressive. If you'd said like, what's it called? Animal. Oh man, what's the Billy Basso video game? Billy Basso. I saw Animal Well. Animal Well is like 30 megs, which was achieved without any without any optimization. So I bet you could get Animal Well on a floppy disk drive pretty easily. Floppy disk pretty easy. I see. You like bringing a cat image on 20 floppies, right? You like to carry that around. Here's the Reddit post. I am a little interested. Got a working copy. That's wild. Stripped down. Oh, it's probably stripped down. Oh, this is for like a special version of a disk drive. It's only around 23 megabytes. That's incredible. 23 megabytes. They got a 2 gigabyte game down to... Oh, this disk drive, this floppy disk can hold 32 megs. Yeah, you could easily get Animal Well on one of these. You know, without the sound, our game would probably fit on something like that too. But the sound is like so much space. There's another image showing a screenshot. Hey, LS Dev. Guy goes by the name of Doc Jade, who Billy Basso. How's it going, LS? All right. So I changed these. There will be consequences. One of the big consequences. So what I did originally when we removed support for the half block outlines is I reduced some of the outer wall outlines, which would start to misbehave if a cutaway is needed. But now I'm adding them back to get the correct behavior. Yeah, so you can see that, well, you can't see, but this is more correct technically, but now we have a problem. You can see on the two edges our problem. And the only way to fix this edge case here on the corner is to support a half block outline for the upper half, which I can't normally do, but Ketu had a really good idea, which was to, instead of rendering either the top wall or the lower wall, just separate them out and render a top wall and a lower wall. Okay, so I guess that will take an extra set of tile map layers, but I think I'm willing to pay for an additional third of tile map layers to have that flexibility. That'll make the cutaways a lot easier. And then the outlines can respect the cutaways fully instead of what I had before, which is like you couldn't handle certain cutaways with the outlining system, so you'd have to ignore them, and that would be inconsistent. LS, you're doing fine. You're figuring out how to render a spline for later use in font rendering, etc. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, I've never really worked with splines. Unlocking a whole new set of bugs. No, this is going to be good. This is going to be good for consistency. This is going to be very good. What should we do now? I don't think I can keep hunting down bugs since I have in mind this pretty big change here. I mean, it should be easy to implement, but it is still a big change. What we could do is we could let's wrap these functions. So I wrote some wrapper functions, and now let's fill the cases. I only filled certain cases with them, but let's fill the rest. And why not? That seems like a good use of the rest of the stream today. We're just hanging out. We're just gonna do a little busy work. What's this video you're sharing with me? If you were rickrolling me, I swear. The final countdown on Flopatron 3.0. Oh, this is a computer hardware orchestra. I see. I can't play this on stream. Because I don't know what the audio rights are going to be like. But yeah, this kind of thing is fun. I love watching. Like there's one of those where it's like someone made like a Radiohead song play on like a bunch of random machines. I like that kind of thing. Flopatron channel is great. You used to listen to the song parodies. You know, I bet these are the same people that did that other one that I'm thinking of. Yeah, they have a bunch of songs on their Flopatron. That seems fun. Yeah, people should go check that out. You can listen to Whiskey in the Jar on the Flopatron. Beat It on Flopatron. Yeah, that's fun. Bohemian Rhapsody on Flopatron. Pretty good. That's a lot of floppy disks. 512 floppy disk drives are in the Flopatron. That's wild. Seems like you got a long way to go till you've got your own Flopatron, Mr. Magoo, but you're getting there. Got the first 20 or so. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going to the overlay levels, and we're going to be pulling down the functionality and wrapping it. So I want to do something about this as well. I don't like this ridiculous switch statement I do. Or this ternary, the switch statement in a ternary. All right, so what we can do is we take this stuff and we're going to start encapsulating this. So we're going to take like this. We're going to go down here. So we're going to say not has negative X overlay. This one. We're going to throw this in here. And now we're going to go back to where we just were. We're going to replace, excuse me, with not, well, here. This is an easier way to do it. Don't need to pass a null. What does this want? Oh, it needs the mask, right. So we're hiding our sins here. That's what we're going to be doing. And then here we can go grab this. Go back down here. So we say not has positive X. We want a version of this that's then we say return tile layers whole key.w switch. Oh. Add the arms. Skip this arm. Skip this arm. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this. Let's make the rest of these, I guess. Private bool not has edge. Negative Y. Overlay. Anyone have any fun plans for the weekend here? I'm looking forward to playing some more Arc Raiders. I've been enjoying that game. I really like the Cycle Frontier, which is another kind of game like that. That game was rough, though. The pacing was kind of messed up. There were rampant cheating. There were only 2 maps, one of which was just full of cheaters. But Arc Raiders seems like they got it figured out. I'm really enjoying it. The loot is not so precious as I thought it would be. Like, it's not a big deal to, like, go in with a free kit or, like, lose your stuff. Like, you're getting so much stuff all the time. You have a chicken named Scrappy who brings you supplies, which is very cute. Wasn't expecting that. Yeah, that's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. Okay, so we've got all of these now. Okay, so let's keep going down the list here. Go back up here. So I can replace this now with this. Instead of null, we pass mask. All right. This is rather silly that this is what we're going to be passing down here through, but whatever. Let's find the right one. Negative X overlay. Positive X. This one. All right, now this one's meaty. I'm gonna move this one down to the positive Y layer. That has edge. Positive Y. Should it be like this? Writer is so often just messing with my this and this and this, or this and this and this. That looks correct. hiding this behavior. And people don't have to see it. They just see a simple question like not has edge positive Y overlay. Cutaways, all key, mask, coords equals coords with Y equals coords dot Y plus 2. I don't know what that means, Magoo, but good luck with that. Oh, why did I write this again? I already had this up here or down there. Oops. The corners, we're not going to encapsulate the corner behavior yet because there really isn't any corner behavior yet, with rare exceptions. But I think once we start testing the textures, it will be super obvious when the corners aren't being removed correctly, and then we can go in. I don't like the crimes that I've done here with these parentheses. I think I was doing it back when I had the indentate the scope lines getting drawn, but now that I removed the scope lines, this looks just wrong. That looks right. It's still a little weird, but it's fine. Fix that later. Well, or maybe now. You can tell when I'm like tired of doing actual work when I just start fiddling with formats and things. All right, so we've got, this is good. We just did the same thing here. We need to do the same thing for this one. So we'll copy this behavior down. I don't know if I like the spaces that I put here. I guess I kind of do. Thanks for the hydrate, Mr. Magoo. Appreciate that. Good idea. How many disk drives and VHS drives does the normal person have? I'd say the average is 0. I'd say that's the average. Because laptops don't come with disk drives anymore. Most desktops don't even come with disk drives anymore. Maybe people have a Blu-ray player or a DVD player. If they have a DVD player, it's probably just old. I'd say the average is below 1 for all of it combined. I don't think anyone has VHS drives and VHS players anymore either. I'm getting back into drives or discs. I have a Blu-ray collection that I stopped adding to for like almost a decade, maybe. I've started adding to it again. I've started buying used Blu-rays because there's so many movies I want to watch. I just aren't available. Like, I wanted to watch Young Frankenstein. There's nowhere to stream that right now. Luckily, I have a Blu-ray of it. You about 4? Yeah, you're way above average then. Your current PC has 1 disk drive, which you feel is above. Yeah, that is above average. You have a USB. That's not a disk drive. I mean, I guess in a sense it is. I don't think that's not what we're talking about, but yeah. Oh, you have a VHS player for the purposes of digitizing your family's collection. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I have a Blu-ray player now. I didn't have one for a long time. I have a portable Blu-ray drive. I really just use it as a DVD drive though. Because having like having a Blu-ray drive that doesn't contain the licenses to like use the codecs involved is crazy. Like if you just have a random, like if you build a computer and you just have a Blu-ray drive in there, you need to buy like a media player that has the licenses to actually read those formats. Like you can't just use it out of the box. It's crazy. Crazy. I mean, I think people are going to start having their own collections of stuff again, but I don't think people are going to go back to like hard discs for it, like that kind of a disc, like an external disc. Because it's cheap to buy, multiple terabytes of hard drives nowadays. That's like not expensive anymore. I remember when it was. I remember when my dad had like a whole shelf of disk drives just so he could reach like a terabyte or 2 of storage capacity. All right, what am I doing now? Negative Y, positive Y, positive Y. Magoo's also making a custom OS. You don't think there's anything average about them? I think that's fair. You have a stereo with vinyl, 2 tapes, and a 3 rotary disc drive that you can open and spin while playing. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It would be cool to have like records and stuff. I'm not much of an audiophile. Like I can't really tell the difference between like a good audio setup and a bad one, but for the people that can, having some proper tech there is really nice. All right, we're wrapping functions. Function junction. Really hope this is going to work on the first try, or this is going to be annoying to fix. Oh, autocomplete wanted to help me out. I didn't give it time. There we go. Thanks, autocomplete. Oh, again, I didn't need to do that, though. All right, here we go. Here we go. We're going to wrap all these edge checks. All right, so now we're doing Deck Z overlay. All right. Here we go. I commented this out. Do I want to keep it? No. Thanks for the stretch. Thanks for the stretch, Mr. Magoo.
He's dead, Jim.
Might be. What? Did I already copy this over? Oh no, this is positive Y we're talking about here. All right, not has, oh no, positive X. Not has edge, positive X. This is very different. Deck Z tile overlay. You know, I was probably on the wrong function. Not has edge, positive X over. No, there's code here. There's code here, and it's very different than what we already have. That's concerning. This is what we're gonna put here. That is so different. Okay, I'm very concerned about what's happened now. Let's hide this. And hide this. And hide this. All right, what did I do? This doesn't look right. This looks like it belongs somewhere else. Oh no. Oh, I think I know what happened. Let's get rid of that. Well, we might actually need this. I think this is supposed to be... I think I put it in the wrong spot. Yeah, I think we put it in the wrong spot here. It belonged here, and we put it in the next one. An accident. Why is this not sufficient? There. Appreciate everyone hanging out for what's ended up being a pretty chill stream. Hey, Frolansky, how's it going? Welcome in. You're kind of catching the end of a pretty chill Saturday stream here. How have you been? How's your weekend going? At the end, you're up late with your baby. You wanted to do you wanted to do dev work, but you can't. Wow, I'm having a hard time saying stuff. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a short one. I'm having some focus issues today. I think I need to just switch into weekend mode here soon. Clean up, you know, do my like weekend cleaning, play some games, just try to unwind. But we're doing good stuff. We're running down the remaining issues we've got with our autotiler. There's some stuff we realize we need to change about the tile set atlas, but we're in good shape. Yeah. You pretty adjusted to your new routine then? I know every day is supposed to be like a whole new adventure when you got a new family like that, or a newborn. Thought I hid this. See if this is the same. I think it is. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this one's good. It's tough. You're figuring it out. Yeah. I feel that. I'm sure it's tough to find time or even the energy to do anything like game dev, do anything that's not absolutely necessary. Whoa. Whoa, there, autocomplete. Oh, what? Hold on a second. What just happened here? How did I not... Oh man, I never even finished this. Ooh, that is not good. Please tell me I didn't overwrite all of this code before I did that. I totally did. I totally just lost a bunch of stuff. Okay. Best thing to do would be to just roll right back to it. A little duplicative, but I want to not mess this up. Yeah, I just erased these without actually copying them over. Oh no, I did here. Positive. Oh, I did in the wrong spot. That's what happened. Okay. Oopsies. There we go. Let's see if we can get this right this time. Use Git. I have Git. It was easier to just roll back like some changes. Are we making cool stuff or refactoring old stuff? At the moment, we're refactoring stuff. We've our autotiler is pretty complicated now. It has like it understands the underlying stuff and overlays, so like selection overlays of like highlighting things and stuff like that. It treats them differently. So right now we're just wrapping the overlay functionality stuff, which is like an additional set of autotiling rules on top of the regular stuff. So there's like a not has edge X or edge negative X, but there's also a not has edge negative X overlay, which might also call the regular version of it. So each layer kind of has its own rules for determining each edge, and it's a series of confusing checks. So this is the same. That's the same as this. So this is here. So this is good. And then what we want to do, so that's fine. I think I just jumped the gun on the last one and tricked myself. So do that. We can say not has. But we're definitely getting towards the end where you know the autotiler is pretty fully functional. We're getting there. All right, so save this. Grab this. Bring this down over here. Edge positive. What? What did I do? Oh my god. Somehow I deleted this too. Whatever. I don't know how I butchered this so badly. I'm clearly not focusing. All right, that's that one. Do this in the correct order this time, Dave. What I should have done is I should have actually waited until I confirmed that I copied all these over before I renamed them. Okay, so this one is here. This one, I also need to make sure is here. Yeah, we're definitely not making cool stuff today. Arneo, you've been terrified of deleting stuff. You keep a lot of commented out old stuff around just in case. Yeah, I used to do that. I've gotten a lot more comfortable just relying on Git to tell me about that stuff if I need to like refer back to something like that. But yeah, it can be scary for sure. We're heading out. Have a good rest of the stream, everyone. Thank you. Magoo, once you get Unity re-downloaded, you'll recompile your game and DM it to me. Okay. Don't send me a virus, please. This is negative Y for deck Z. Is that correct? Is that what I just did here? Negative Y for deck Z. Negative Y for deck Z. Yep. Okay. At least autocomplete has a pretty strong idea of what I'm doing right now. Which is fair. We're doing some pretty boilerplate stuff right now. Why does this keep expanding? I don't like that this says that this has changed. Oh no, I did change this. Right. I did change that. Positive X, negative Y, positive Y. Okay, corrected for. All right, we did it. I'll try not to mix up your virus with your game that you keep in the same folder. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. Nix, what about you? Will I accept your notavirus.exe? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. I really want to figure out the itch itch.io sandbox for stuff like game jams and stuff, so I can run people's EXEs without being worried about nuking my computer. I've never used it, but it seems like a great way to share download-only games. All right, we did the decks. Now we just got to do the walls, the bulks. So it should be easy, and I think that'll be probably it. I think I can do this quickly. I say, having just taken the time to roll it all back because I did it quickly before and I did it wrong. Okay, so this one's here. Is this the same? Yep, great. I'm gonna learn this time. I'm gonna do all 4 and then I'm gonna replace the names. I'm gonna really hope that all of this works after this. Good thing about yours is you will try to make it in a web build. You just have to figure out how to actually do that. Step 1, don't use C#. All right, okay, I think I can rename these now. Actually, what the easiest thing to do is to do it like this. And then instead of null, we're passing in the mask. But obviously we need to be the overlay version of the function. Okay, there we go. Nix, you mean you're not, but you're still getting some error. You're also lazy enough as to refuse to comprehend the problem, not lazy enough to slowly create the GD script for your car and the camera. I mean, you can always post the error in a troubleshooting channel. I'm not like an expert on that stuff, but I've done enough web builds to maybe have some idea of what's happening. You're sure it's pretty easy to fix? You just saw the red error message and you were like, nah, not today. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, have you set up... Do you have the web export template? Would probably be the first thing. Do you actually download the web export template? Just pretty easy to do. No, we don't have to figure it out. Figure it out later. All right, can I get rid of this line now? Can I get rid of all this stuff? Did I put all of this stuff in here? I did, I think. All right, one more layer to do, which is good because I've got about 3 minutes to do it. We're already back in pre-rolls now. But I don't want to run ads if I'm going to wrap up the stream soon. So what are we doing now? I'm going to rewrite this part first real quick. Switch to this. Take this. Add overlay. 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 I love when you say a word so many times, it starts to lose its meaning. It just becomes confusing. Oh yeah, if you're making it, wait, why would you be making it in the mono or .NET or whatever version of the engine if you're not using C#? Is that just the version of the engine you happen to download? Or do you have plans to use C#? You don't have to look at it. I don't have time to, like, you know, go into it during the stream here. I'm just curious. I feel like I've never been in a, like, whenever I run into web build problems, it's always during a jam, so I'm always just, like, frantically trying to fix it. I've never, like, stopped and, like, studied them or anything. I'm always just like, oh my god, there's no time. We have to submit the build. It's always funny. It's always very funny. Okay, this is negative y. Hold on a second. I just did the thing. I did the thing I always do. This is negative y. This is positive x. Put it in the wrong place. And then this is positive z. Huh. Or positive y, whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I'm kind of in a rush. All right, cool. Is there a reason this is parenthetical, but this one, this one up here is not? Whichever one, this one, this one. I guess if that's a problem, I'll find out pretty soon, huh? I'm using autocomplete. Just feels very likely that it's going to give me something wrong, but I'm just doing it. All right, I think that's it. I think that's it for what we wanted to do. I'll test this later. Because I feel like there's going to be a transcription bug of some kind. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. We're in pre-rolls. We're out of time. This was fun. We'll be back on Tuesday. We might miss a few streams next week, but we'll be back on Tuesday for sure. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.